Hi, Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekend System. And I'm so glad to be here each and every week. I do these lives, I call them Auto Shop Success in 15 minutes. I do them for two reasons. One of them is for you. Well, that's it. Real world stuff going on here. One of them is for you to be able to shift your perspective. Look at your business from that big picture, that 30,000-foot view, because I see a lot of shop owners are so caught up in the day to day that they really don't have time to do that. The second reason is for you to be able to take one action step away each and every week. It's so important to take action on anything that you learn, whether you're listening to me, read a book, go to a conference. The magic is in the doing. And when you combine those two, looking at your business from that big picture vision and then taking action, that's really when you have a ripple effect. And these small things make a huge impact. So if you find this valuable, please share it with another shop owner. This is a very giving group, and you may know someone that this can really help. So let's get started. This week's topic is a part two from last week. This week is the Real Hiring Challenge. And I wanted to dive into this because I'm hearing this a lot when I go to conferences. I just came back from one this past week. And when I talk to shop owners and clients, it's not that nobody wants to work. It's that too few auto shops are worth working for. Now, I know that's kind of hard to hear, but you know, I want to talk really today about what's really going on, because last week when I was talking about nobody wants to work anymore, that's really not the issue. The truth is that there's too few shops that are worth working for. That's the reality. And I know that it's hard, but this conversation could change how you attract, develop, and retain your people, because people, your team, is your greatest asset if you allow them to be. So you have to really set this up. And here's what I've learned from coaching shop owners from all over the country and even owning my own shop since 1999. Everyone's struggling to find good help. But what separates the shops that have a waiting list of applicants from the ones that are constantly hiring, because some are actually getting applicants in even though they're filled, because they want to find that gem, they want to find that unicorn, and they'll find a space for them. So, they a lot of times they'll say, I'm building my bench. And here's what it is. It's not luck. It's leadership. They've learned to adapt to what today's workforce values most. And that's really what I want to dive in with you today, because this is important. There's 5 hiring realities, and these hiring realities are what I want to go over with you today. And these may sound familiar or they may not, but it really is a shift in the way that you look at it. So the first reality number 1, is people want purpose and progress. So yes, pay matters. Of course, you have to have competitive wages, but so does how people are treated. People want to belong to something that matters, something bigger than them, where their effort connects to a goal or even a cause. I was in my shop yesterday and I was talking to a young man, early 20s, and he had got a new job like 6 months ago. He wasn't in the automotive space. He was in our waiting room waiting for a service to be done. But here's the thing, he was talking about his job and how much he liked it because he really felt like the company was helping people and he felt good about what he did. So this is spot on with reality number one. Reality number two, you are competing beyond the trades. So automotive shop owners out there, you're not just competing with other shop owners. You talk about logistics, manufacturing, even warehouses, right? The big ones like Amazon are pulling people from the same pool. They promise things that people are looking for today, right? Balance, opportunity. So you've got to compete with culture and growth, not just hourly pay. And if you're not focusing on culture, if you're not focusing on these things or you think it's fluff, you're really missing the point. Even a generation or two ago, when many of the owners were in the industry starting out, it was a different industry when it came to the workforce. So this is important. Reality number three, your reputation is your recruiting tool. I'm talking about your internal culture. That's your best or your worst marketing. So how your team talks about your shop, that's your real employer brand. What do they say? What do they say to friends? What do they say to with family? How do they talk about working with you, working on your team? You have to really think about that. Reality number four, training is retention. People don't leave jobs. They leave stagnation. They leave if they're not learning. They're leaving, right? The other thing they're doing is they're leaving their boss, right? They're leaving whoever is the person that they report to. So depending on the size of your business, whoever it is that they're reporting to, I've interviewed a lot of people since 1999. And one of the questions I asked them is, who was, and they don't have to give me a name, but I want them to describe your best boss and who was the worst. Give me a description of the personality of what they were like. And the answers are very, very similar, very, very common, that many of them left because of that person that they had to report to. And lastly, number five, few young people are entering into the trades. We've heard that. That's a reality, but we don't use it as an excuse. I see too many people using it as an excuse of why they can't hire. If people are banging down your door, right, then of course it's easy to hire. But what about the fact that we don't have as many people entering the trades? The shops that grow their own talent through mentorships, apprenticeships, training, and having those plans in place, those programs set up, those are the ones that will win. So what I'm talking about today is this is leadership, evolution in real time. This is not about working harder. This is about leading smarter. That's what makes the difference. We have to think about how we're leading. So I want to ask you a question for those that you are live, or for those if you're watching on the replay. What's your biggest hiring challenge right now? If you can drop that in the comments, that would be great. Is it finding techs, training them, keeping them, or getting your team to step up? And I ask this because I want to see where the biggest friction is so I can target this in future lives. So if you have a moment, well, again, whether you're live or you're on the replay, put that in the chat because that will really be helpful. And what I want to do is I want to talk to you about a mindset shift. So here's a part that many shop owners overlook. You set the tone for who you attract. If your shop feels chaotic, reactive, and stressful, people sense it. I can tell you that I've talked to part suppliers and vendors for the last 26 plus years, and they tell me that they walk into a shop and they can tell what kind of shop it is within the first 5 minutes. And you know what? Your customers can feel it too. So people sense it. If your shop feels clear, purposeful, and professional, then people start to talk about it. So the best team members, they're not looking for perfection. They're not looking for a perfect shop. They are looking for leaders who care, they communicate, and they follow through. So each week, I leave you with an action for that you can take, one action that you can take. And here it is. Schedule a quick 10-minute huddle with your team this week and ask them, what's one thing that would make this place better to work? That's what you want to find out. You want to make it a better place to work. So what's one thing that would do that, make it a better place to work? Then here's the hard part. Listen. Don't defend. Don't justify. Just listen. It's amazing, right? It's amazing what you'll get as feedback. And maybe people won't do it right away. It might take them a day or so because they thought about it. But let them know that they can talk, that you're open for it. And lastly, I leave you with a pro thinking tip each week. Your team already knows what's keeping people and what's driving them away. Smart owners ask, and great leaders, they act. They're going to take that information and they're going to do something about it. So here's the big takeaway this week. You don't need to out-hire everyone. You need to out-lead them. When your shop becomes the kind of place where people are proud to work, you'll never have to chase talent again. So that's it for this week's Auto Shop Success in 15 minutes. I'm glad that you were here, whether you're live or on the replay. Put comments in. I will respond to all of them. So thank you for being here and have an enjoyable week.